you on Planetterrian Daily, episode 97. It's June 21st, 2026. Let's see what the latest research is telling us. The week's biggest developments pulled together, what actually moved, why it matters, and what to watch next. An international team has produced the first complete connectome of an adult fruit fly nervous system. The wiring diagram covers every neuron connection in the brain and ventral nerve cord. Labs at Harvard Medical School and Princeton University led the project. The finished map now supports direct experiments on how individual circuits control behavior. University of Bristol researchers observed groups of dwarf mongooses altering their movement patterns in high-risk zones. The animals also changed their communication and resource defense behaviors, even without immediate rivals present. Adjustments scaled with the likelihood of conflict according to the observations. The study appears in Nature, Ecology, and Evolution. Future work will test whether similar anticipation occurs in additional social species. Now, shifting to a very different area of research. Plasma proteomic analysis has tracked biological age across more than 40 cell types from a single blood sample. Accelerated aging in specific cell populations correlated with elevated risk for particular diseases. The same approach also flagged individuals showing slower aging signatures in certain cell types. The method measures heterogeneous aging rates without needing separate tissue samples. Hundreds of wine grape seeds will orbit for approximately 6 months. The seeds receive continuous cosmic radiation exposure before return to Earth. After landing, the seeds will be planted and grown to assess heritable changes in growth fruit chemistry and stress tolerance. The project aims to produce the first wine from space-exposed grape lineages. Researchers expect the radiation dose to induce novel genetic variation not easily generated by terrestrial breeding. On a different note, childhood abuse or neglect has been linked to elevated mitochondrial respiratory capacity that persists into adulthood. The increase appears driven by cellular stress adaptation rather than simple energy shortfalls. Researchers note the shift may help explain later differences in physical and mental health. Further longitudinal work is required to test whether the mitochondrial change can be reversed. A photonic platform at Southern University of Science and Technology captured 5 distinct phases of localization physics simultaneously. The setup used controlled disorder to track transitions that theorists had predicted but not previously measured together. Results indicate localization behavior is more varied than earlier models assumed. The team plans extensions to other quantum platforms to test generality. Next up, deletion of the SNF1 gene in yeast shortens chronological lifespan under low glucose and amino acids. The same deletion lengthens lifespan and raises competitive fitness by roughly 2 orders of magnitude when glucose reaches 5% and amino acids are tripled. The outcome parallels metabolic reprogramming seen in cancer cells. The work shows that one genetic change can produce opposite effects on aging depending on nutrient conditions. The chosen concept will examine how solar activity and atmospheric dynamics alter the near-Earth space environment. Data are expected to improve forecasts for GPS accuracy and satellite operations. Shifting focus, advanced spectrometry has identified thousands of previously uncharacterized compounds in everyday foods. These molecules, described as nutritional dark matter, sit outside standard nutrient labels. Early data tie some of them to aging pathways and metabolic regulation. The mapping effort aims to rank which compounds deserve targeted human studies next. Analysis of U.S. suburban development since 1945 shows neighborhood design features explain more vehicle miles traveled than simple distance from city centers. Street patterns that force longer local trips and reduce walking account for a substantial share of household carbon output. The study reframes sprawl policy around street networks rather than density metrics alone. On another front, researchers have completed the first global map of fungal networks across terrestrial soils. The distribution data cover multiple ecosystems and establish a baseline for planetary scale below-ground ecology. Southwest Research Institute measurements indicate the inner belt asteroid completes one end-over-end rotation every 10.5 Earth days. Its spin axis wobbles every 25.5 days. The dual axis motion was revealed by Lucy Data. Now, moving to insect navigation, drone tracking of wild honeybees revealed that each individual maintains its own consistent flight route between foraging sites. Some paths repeated so precisely that bees passed within centimeters of earlier positions. Trees and other landmarks stabilized the routes, while open fields increased variation. The observations show how insects rely on visual cues for precise navigation. University of Copenhagen economists tracked Danish firms facing low-cost Chinese imports. While offshoring reduced local emissions, overall global emissions increased. The net rise occurred because production shifted to regions with higher carbon intensity per unit output. The study used firm-level data matched to trade and emissions records. Policymakers are examining whether carbon border adjustments could alter this pattern. Turning to technology, an AI system now operates optical tweezers that load, trap, and measure hundreds of microscopic particles per hour. The closed-loop platform removes manual steps from single-particle biophysical assays. The method is already being applied to protein complexes and extracellular vesicles. Caltech researchers showed that stressed soil bacteria remodeled gene expression and metabolism to cope with phosphorus scarcity. The changes alter interactions with plant roots. Experiments combined controlled microcosms with transcriptomic profiling of bacterial communities. The findings matter for predicting ecosystem responses under nutrient-limited conditions. Moving on, a high-resolution spatial proteomics atlas has mapped 13,000 proteins across human tissues. The atlas shows how protein organization varies by tissue context at cellular scale. It supplies a new reference for tracking disease-related changes. Shifting topics, nanobubbles roughly 100 nanometers across generate reactive species that degrade oil, algae, and other water contaminants. The bubbles leave no chemical residues and remain suspended for extended periods. Field-scale tests are underway for municipal and agricultural water treatment systems. Next, AI analysis of prion proteins has identified short peptide sequences with potential activity against drug-resistant bacteria. The sequences could be repurposed for new antibiotic development. Finally, infectious disease researchers recorded an African origin virus transmitted by mosquitoes in Scottish samples. Heather Ferguson described the detection as unexpected within her career. The finding expands the known geographic range of the pathogen. Surveillance programs will monitor further northward spread. Keep an eye on results from expanded mosquito surveillance networks in Northern Europe. That's Planetterrian Daily for today. If you enjoyed this, a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify really helps new listeners find the show. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow. And before you go, this show is part of the NARA Network, a family of daily podcasts covering tech, science, markets, and more. If you enjoyed today's episode, give Tesla Shorts Time a listen, your daily deep dive into everything Tesla. You can explore the whole lineup at naranetwork.com. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.